From America to Australia and everywhere in between, we bring you inspiring, informative interviews with accomplished South Asian diaspora spanning every field and walk of life. Welcome to the Desi Buzz Talk Show with your host, Dr. Shabana Parvez. Welcome back to our show. My guest today is Ms. Sameera Ali, joining me from Milton, Ontario. For almost 8 years, Councillor Sameera Ali has been a champion for the people of Ward 4 in Milton. She blends compassion with dedication and is a passionate supporter of the artists and artisans development network. She understands the role that creativity plays in the community. She has a heart for youth, seniors, affordable housing, and small businesses. Councillor Ali's involvement on numerous boards, including the Halton Police Board, the FCM, and the Women's Centre of Halton, has demonstrated her commitment to making Milton a better place for everyone. Her impressive background also includes a master's degree in international relations and over 15 years in marketing and in communications. Recently, she was recognized with an FCM Award of Excellence for her impactful work in Ghana, and she's set to carry her expertise to Sri Lanka this year. She's also fluent in multiple languages. She moved to Milton a decade ago, and she continues to thrive in the community alongside her husband, Usman, and their 4 children. And so I'm very pleased to welcome Councillor Sameera Ali, joining me from Ontario. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Shabana.
Thank you. Let's just get right into it. Let me ask you first, tell us a little bit more about your background and what are the, just to introduce a little bit more, just since some of the audience might be hearing about you for the first time. Share a little bit about your background, where you grew up, your family, and really what inspired your path to community service.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to share my background story. So I grew up in a middle-class family, much like many of the immigrant families that moved to US, Canada. I came to Canada almost 22 years ago and came here, had 4 of my children here. But I grew up from humble beginnings as a middle-class family in the Middle East. I grew up in Oman. And but originally me and my parents we're from Pakistan, Karachi. That is where I was born, but I was 2 weeks old when I moved to Oman. And that's where my dad worked. And back in the day, there was a lot of construction boom in the Middle East. My dad was a civil engineer, so it all added up. And growing had my schooling there, and then for my master's, I went back to Karachi. I did my master's, my bachelor's and master's from Karachi University, and got married and moved to Canada, and the rest is history. I know your bio covered a lot of the bio you shared about me covered a lot of my experience on council. But the reason I like to share my background and the fact that I have 4 children, and when my last one, who is 12 now, started school, that was when I jumped into this in person, because before that I wanted to be home for the kids. So a lot of moms watching us both here, who think that, having children and a busy family life is something that, they will have to give up to pursue their passions and a successful career. I say, if I can do it, you can do it too.
That's great. Thank you. So now, Milton, you've lived there now, you said, for many years, and you've raised your family here. In that capacity, how that experience, how has that shaped your priorities as a leader?
Milton, as you know, is the fastest growing, one of the fastest growing communities in Canada, let alone Ontario. So things move really fast. And raising my children here, I get to see the challenges faced by young people, immigrant families, newcomers on a daily basis. Being on council for 8 years has also shown me how solutions can be found for these problems. And really, just talking to people, being a member of many volunteer organizations, it's given me an insight on how I can be an effective leader. And so that's how it has shaped me.
What are the personal values or life lessons that you've learned from both from your upbringing, which is of course quite diverse and interesting, and then and what you have done so far in terms of how you guide, how a guiding principle, say, for your work in public service?
One of the things I love about being in municipal politics in Ontario is that this is a non-partisan role, so we don't have to be party members to be in municipal politics. It is you at the door, you're the party, you're the brand,
Mm-hmm.
and you get to hold on to your values and principles.
Mm-hmm.
And being in municipal politics, I've learned that as long as you are able to sleep at night with a clear conscience, staying true to your values and principles, and listening to the residents of the ward you represent, you can be a good council member and you don't have to compromise on your values and beliefs that you have been raised with. So I've been raised by my parents to always speak the truth to power, to be strong, to never give up, and to respect the offices that I have the privilege to occupy. So
Mm-hmm.
those are the values I stand by, and I'm so far very, very pleased with how I've been able to balance it all.
That's great. So
Yeah.
prior to be your political career, you
Mm.
had communications and strategic media career. So how did that prepare you for your public leadership roles?
That's a very good question because I had started as a junior copywriter in my career, and I was doing it all from home, virtually, because I had young kids and I wanted to be there and not leave the house. So, excuse me. So I started that as a young junior copywriter, but I built my way up to the PR manager for a lot of independent agencies, which coincidentally were based out of the US.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was managing teams and I was dealing with a lot of governance issues that our clients had to deal with and helping my agency in managing them as a PR manager role. So all of that really helped me as an elected official now to deal with, not everything is always good. There are
Mm-hmm.
challenges,
Right.
and people come to us, all elected officials, when they have issues and problems. That's what we're here for. So it really trained me in a way of,
Mm-hmm.
being a people's person, being able to resolve conflicts in a more meaningful, positive manner. And I really do think that it really kind of polished me to get ready for this role.
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah.
in addition to uh, so some of what you're talking about does seem like, yeah, trying to bring different parties together in collaboration. Can you
Yeah.
recognize for some of your collaborative leadership, you can you tell us like maybe a share moment where you had like a tangible difference that you made for the residents of Milton, based on something like this, working with others?
Yes, for sure. So, when I first got elected, I had a local issue that I was very passionate about, which was the approval of the previous council of a density project, like a building in the middle of our local park. And nobody wanted that because our park, it backs into our kids' school, elementary school, to be clear. And that was definitely a big no-no for us to have a big building with basically a lot of commercial under it in such a small neighborhood location. So a bunch of us neighbors got together, formed a group, and campaigned and advocated against it. And that was the issue that I wanted to resolve when I ran for council in 2018. And thankfully, when I got elected, so far that park has no building. I was able to work with staff and work with my colleagues on council and find majority consensus
Mm-hmm.
in finding a solution for my own community. The kids go to that school, which is
Mm-hmm.
behind the park, and we were able to make sure that no building goes into that park. So that is just one thing that I
That's
started with.
good.
But
Mm-hmm.
there's been many more solutions because the key to being a successful politician in any role, you have to be a team player and you have to
Right.
be a consensus builder, a bridge between
Mm-hmm.
residents and your colleagues and staff. So
Right.
I've been able to provide a lot of those solutions in many, many ways, trying to find innovative solutions, working with developers closely. We had a building coming up in an area in my ward where the residents had a concern about traffic and whatnot. And I was able to work with the residents groups and the developer to provide an open, accessible park instead of their parking lot. for the community to be able to use, not just the building residents. So these are the kind of, things that make a difference and make a community
Hmm.
walkable, and that is something that we
That's
all want.
Yeah, especially, yeah, it's a very important part of public health as well, having more
Yeah.
accessibility for walking outdoors and all of that. Um, so you have also in all your community work, you've served, I mentioned in the bio, and you've been on several regional boards, right? And they kind of cover conservation, housing, as some of the examples you mentioned, waste management,
Yeah.
policing. So several different roles. Of all of those boards that you've served on, which one of them would you say has most influenced your understanding of Milton, and why would you say that?
Um, every board obviously, caters to a very different area of governance. Uh, the one that has been most eye-opening, I would say, and most, I would say, educational for me has been the police board, because I had good understanding of how municipalities and the policing go together. But the whole area of judiciary and policing and law enforcement, I did not have that in-depth understanding of what the challenges are for
Mm-hmm.
officers and policing,
Mm.
how the budget that we approve for policing gets then utilized,
Mm-hmm.
and what results we're able to get through that budget we approve, like we as council members are in charge of approving. So it really was an eye opener, and I have so much deep respect for law enforcement in our
Mm.
community. We are the ones who approve the budgets, and everything goes through our table at the police board.
Mm-hmm.
But we really take pride in how, ethical and meaningful work our community partners like law enforcement do. And so that is something that helped me understand.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have an incident on your street, like a
Mm-hmm.
robbery or
Mm.
an auto theft, and you think like that is happening every day, but only when you're on the board and you look at the stats and you look at the surrounding areas, it gives you perspective on how it's being managed and what can be done and what cannot be done.
Mm-hmm. That's great. So that's eye-opening. It's always good. You learn so much in these roles. And
Yeah.
so as you've been serving in city council for all these years and serving your community, and you've met obviously these different groups and the residents, what are you seeing as the key concerns that families in Milton are consistently raising? What are their key concerns?
The challenge Milton faces is that over the years, we have added on a lot of population. And with that population came a lot of development and growth, new
Mm-hmm.
parks, new school, many more services. And all of this requires a lot of investment, operational and capital investment.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that majority of council continues to struggle with is balancing the need for services, meanwhile keeping taxes low. Now, those are challenges that all municipalities face, but the thing with Milton is that we have grown so fast that our taxes continue to be low, because in the 90s we had a phase where the taxes were 0% increase. And what that did was that took away the growth to tax balance away from the
Mm-hmm.
council of those times. And so now our councils have to deal with that gap. So every year during budget time, we do go through a painstaking process of making sure everything that is approved is exactly what we need and does not include any of the wants from the community, which I think is not fair to the community because they are taxpayers. So I would say that is one of the biggest challenges. And so people will talk about traffic congestion, about
Mm-hmm.
snow removal. All of these things require a
Right.
lot of investment. And that investment sadly can come through tax increases, and that is something nobody wants. So that will continue to be a challenge. But
Yeah.
I think there are solutions to be found.
So speaking of challenges then, how do you approach some of those difficult conversations on issues like you mentioned, affordability, traffic, transit with your growth, and then infrastructure?
Well, that's a great question. The good thing about Miltonians is that Milton has one of the highest educated diaspora from
Mm-hmm.
anybody anywhere else in the GTA. So all of our immigrant population, which is around 40%, is highly educated. And when I say highly, it's not just education, it's university level education.
Mm-hmm.
So we're very lucky in that way. So when I sit down with residents and I explain with facts and figures, just like I did about the whole tax scenario in
Mm-hmm.
90s and us playing catch up since then, people understand and they get
Mm-hmm.
it. And they
Mm-hmm.
understand the challenge we face keeping taxes low because, things are expensive everywhere right now. This is
Mm-hmm.
not the time for us
Right.
to say, well, we need to catch up, so we're raising this much tax.
Mm-hmm.
We try to keep taxes as close to the rate of inflation as possible because even bread is expensive now, and that's just a basic need for your children. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so
Right.
we, so people understand. I think communication is key. Talking to people, not taking them for granted, not trying to BS your way through answers and giving them word salads. I
Mm-hmm.
think being real is what is appreciated. So
Mm-hmm.
my advice to all politicians who are new, be real,
Mm-hmm.
Don't
Mm-hmm.
think that your resident is stupid and you can get away with foolishness. You
Right.
have to
Right.
take them seriously.
That's so. You speaking of that, then you talk about transparency, right? You speak a lot or emphasize a lot about transparency and accountability in governance. So, uh, in practice, how is that? Does that look like in in your leadership?
So in practice, how does that look like? That's a good question. You know, Transparency and being accountable is very important because that is what builds trust and loyalty
Mm-hmm.
for any politician who wants to get reelected. If you're honest with your work and you are transparent in everything you do, your expenses, um, where you go, who you speak to, and you are able to build that authentic relationship with the residents openly, having those open discussions, answering all questions earnestly. I think that that really makes a difference. It builds loyalty and trust within your residents. So when you take those tough decisions, because any decision you take on council will have
Mm-hmm.
50% loving you for it and 50% hating you for it. So
Mm-hmm.
there's two sides to a coin on any issue.
Right.
So at least being true to your principles, knowing what the community needs, you take those decisions, and that's when that trust building comes into play, and you're able to trust, take those important, difficult steps because
Mm-hmm.
you know that you have the public's trust. So I think transparency really, really matters.
Mm-hmm. And now going on to some more exciting stuff for this year, 2026. You have recently announced that you are running for mayor of Milton. You just recently announced your candidacy. So now at this time, what is it that inspired you to take that next step?
Much more than inspiration, I feel like me stepping into something that the residents have asked me for many, many months
Mm-hmm.
now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it is a need in our community to have a forward-looking vision for Milton,
Mm-hmm.
a solution-based vision for Milton. And that is something I hope to bring in the mayor's office through
Mm-hmm.
my run for mayor. I've had a great response to my announcement. A lot of support has come my way, but I'm not going to take anything for granted. I will be
Mm-hmm.
working very, very hard, not only as an elected person, which I already am, but for the next office that I aspire to be in. I have been listening to the residents. I have been talking to them street by street, understanding their issues and trying to come up with a solution in my platform for all of those issues. So it is definitely very exciting. I
Mm-hmm.
really want to step up and do more for the community. I, being on council, have a good idea of how, a mayor who really wishes to make a difference can
Mm-hmm.
actually improve their community. And I really want to give that to the community where I live, and I'm raising my children, and I see the issues on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm. So if you do win this election and become mayor, then you would be the first South Asian or Desi, probably the first Muslim woman to lead Milton. What do you think that's like this milestone would mean for you and your future generations?
I honestly, that is it's a big honor, but at the same time, a big responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And not only Milton, actually, I would be the first female Muslim mayor in Canada. because
Wow.
we've
Yeah.
never had one.
Mm-hmm.
So that comes with a big responsibility as well, as something I don't take lightly. But for
Mm-hmm.
me, what matters most is that I'm someone who has the solutions for the problems I hear on
Mm-hmm.
a daily basis. I think it would be unfair for the community to not have an option on the ballot of someone who really has the solutions and understands how work is done. So I'm running to give that option to my community. And I really hope that my platform will convince them that I really have the solutions they've been looking for many decades, which
Mm-hmm.
includes bringing a secondary education institution, a university in Milton, which has been promised for the last 10 years and
Mm-hmm.
has not come to Milton yet, which
Yeah.
includes a lot of business coming to Milton because that's how I plan that we can keep taxes low by
Mm.
investing more and keeping a local economy locally, so providing a lot
Mm-hmm.
of local jobs to young people in our community. So I have a really good plan in place, which I will release in a timely fashion.
Mm-hmm.
And I really, really believe that being how educated our community is, they will like my plan.
Okay, great. That's good because it is Milton is growing, like as you mentioned earlier. It's growing faster than almost anywhere else in Canada. So, as this growth is happening, as the university is that the main, like your main, say, plan for getting the keeping the taxes low, keeping it affordable, and how else are you going to maintain affordability, quality of life, public services
Yeah. And
as
like
this growth happens? Mm-hmm.
yeah, of course. And growth, brings with it growing pains and
Mm-hmm.
challenges. But as long as you have good stakeholders and community partners working with you, I believe you can balance low taxes with great service improvements. We have big organizations who provide a lot of jobs to Miltonians in
Mm-hmm.
here, but we need more. We need the mayor who cannot just sit and say, well, I'll have an open door policy. We need a mayor who actually leaves the office and goes to the businesses and says, I want you to come to my community. You will be a great fit, and this is what we can offer you. Come in, give jobs to our young people here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we will build those economic relationships that will keep the taxes low, but also improve our local economy and provide those much needed funds for service improvements.
Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about your Made in Milton platform. What is this?
So the
What do
Made
you?
in Milton, yeah, the Made in Milton platform, I'm calling it that because I've spent the last 2 years talking to residents all over Milton. We have a lot of residents coming to council, concerned about various issues in all over Milton wards. And I have a unique position of being on council and listening to all of those issues and connecting with those residents from all over Milton. So I've been able to sit down with them one basis and have neighborhood meetings and chats and discuss how we can provide solutions, but also what options they're okay with because it's important and imperative that we have the local voice included in our solutions.
Mm-hmm.
Staff are there to provide us, I would say, technical advice
Mm-hmm.
and expert advice. They're educated. We pay them high salaries to provide us that advice, but also, meanwhile, keeping in mind what the residents actually want. And I feel like the residents' voice needs to be heard better.
Mm-hmm. Great. Um, Tell us a little bit about now. We said, if you get elected, you're going to be the first South Asian mayor in Canada, uh, as a Muslim South Asian mayor. Are you, as a woman of color in leadership, have you had any unique challenges in that role, and how would you say you've overcome them?
I've had many, many challenges
Mm-hmm.
as a woman of color and of Muslim faith in
Mm-hmm.
politics.
Mm-hmm.
Canada overall is an easygoing country, but corporate culture and organizational culture is same everywhere, and
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of politics involved, and I am a politician, so even more politics involved.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been able to fare well because of my good friends and alliances within councils
Mm-hmm.
and within the boards I sit in. And I really want to highlight the role of alliances and allies who are making it easy for people like me to move forward. I have really good friends who are white men.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when, people of color, all of us sit down and talk, the white man is a big enemy. And he's the reason, we face all the challenges. But I'm telling you that I'm here because a lot of my white male friends have helped me
Mm-hmm.
and understood what I was all about and what I wanted to do for my community and were
Right.
there to open doors for me. So, really thanking them, thanking a lot of many other male colleagues. And the reason I highlight the word male is because it's a male dominated industry,
Mm-hmm.
politics, whatever you take it, you name
Mm-hmm.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Unless the men step up and
Mm-hmm.
take responsibility of how things are so challenging for women around you and be their ally, change can never come. And we
Right.
women can never go far. So, men watching this, please hear me out. This is what happens when you help your friends, your sister, your wife, your
Mm-hmm.
mother, let's say. Um, you are an ally to her. She gets to be in a place where she actually can run for mayor of a
Mm-hmm.
town. And I give credit to my husband, who's been by my side from day one. And even running for mayor was his idea. And he goes, Samira, Milton needs you. Every day I hear people calling you and asking you to run. You need to do this.
Oh.
And I'm here by your side. So, really highlighting the role of men in our lives because men are the reason sometimes women can't go forward, but men
They're
can also be
also
a
very
reason.
supportive and
Yes, men
yeah.
can also be a reason that a woman can actually become the mayor of a town and the
Right.
first of her kind in the country. So really wanted to highlight that.
Okay, very good. That's good. Okay. Great. I think that's great that you highlighted that because it is collaboration. I mean, a lot of like the saying that says behind every successful man is a woman, which is true, right? Women are always so supportive of well, most of the time, the reason for the success of the men and under-recognized, but it's equally the same on both sides. It's really just a matter of collaboration, supporting your partner, whichever way, you know, uh, to move forward. So it's good that it's like building bridges and not, you know, isolating women from men. But for those young South Asian women and girls looking up to you, what message would you have for them about leadership, confidence, and participating in, civic activities and service?
Well, that is something I live for. I really like to see young women coming into politics, and sometimes it can look like a scary thing to do, but I'm here to tell you it might look scary and it might be scary. It was for me starting out, but keep pushing and keep going forward. All you've got to do is take it one step at a time. Sometimes there will be no's that you will hear. You will hear no, you will hear can't do it, you will hear don't think you're ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
Just move forward, keep it one step at a time. If one door closes, be patient, keep moving forward. Your time will come.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that is just the path that needs to be taken to get to where you're meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
So never stop
Mm-hmm.
moving forward. That is one lesson that I will tell all young women in any field. Never stop moving forward, even if it's baby steps. Just keep going. Don't stop. Don't let anybody say no to you when you know that you have to get to a goal that you were born to do. And you
Right.
know it within your heart and your gut that this is it and this is what I was born to do.
Mm-hmm.
But the things are very challenging. Maybe, I need to just give it up. I can't do it. No, you can.
Mm-hmm.
Follow your instincts. Just don't stop moving and you'll get there.
So,
Because that's how I
for
did it.
what do you think is say, if you could name one superpower that every woman has that has especially helped you as you're a mother, a leader, an elected official, what would it be?
Patience.
Mm-hmm.
And in my 40s now, I have learned this that patience is one of the best tools you can have in your work bag to pull out when needed because you will face a lot of challenges. You will face a lot of closed doors. You will meet a lot of people who are difficult and sometimes very rude.
Mm-hmm.
And patience is what will get you through it. Because what patience does is also gives you the opportunity to step back from the situation, think about how your next steps can be successful. So, patience is a virtue. They're right when they say that. And also, I would say the one superpower that all women have is multitasking. We are very good multitaskers. And so, take pride in that and rely on that and move ahead because you can raise children while having a successful career.
Right.
You can be a great wife while having a successful career. You can be a great woman of faith, whatever faith you have. I'm a Muslim woman, so you can be a great Muslim woman while having a successful career.
Hmm.
And it's just about having the right support system at home. So make sure you have that
Hmm.
I always say, and this is funny, I always say, not only there are two women who actually raise a man. One is his mom, and the other is his wife. So
Right.
raise your man right, ladies.
Mhm. That's right. Because I kind of leads to my next question. I ask all my interviewees, what is the secret to your success? What would you say? If there's a secret sauce or secret to your success, uh, a thing, an item, a person, doesn't matter what, but what would you say it is?
Well, I want to keep it very real, and this is an answer keeping in mind my own very particular life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very specific to me. And that secret is my husband. God bless him. May Allah give him long life.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be here without his help. And not only that, my eldest is now turning 22, so he's a young man too, and he's seen how his father has been my pillar.
Mm-hmm.
He too is turned into another pillar of support for me, and so really, truly, I really have no
Yeah.
words to, be thankful. And I think because of who I am, a Muslim woman from a South Asian background, this has been the biggest support and the secret for my success.
Mm-hmm.
And it might be different for people with other backgrounds and other realities and cultural realities, but
Yeah.
for me, this is it.
Yeah, that's great. Actually, a lot of the women I interviewed have said that their husbands are one of their secrets. So you're not alone in that. I also always ask every of my interviewees, because as a physician, I'm always interested in how you balance, your
Mm.
health, your wellness, because obviously in this role, you have to do, you have all the mental and physical, emotional challenges, the stresses. How do you keep yourself fit, active, or is there like some sort of, wellness routine that you have, or how do you maintain balance?
That's a great question, and we need to talk about this more and more now because politics has become very polarized
Mm-hmm.
everywhere in the world. It's either you're on one side or the other. There's no middle, and I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I think a lot of mental health safety in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and extremes are always very bad for your mental health, and
Mm-hmm.
especially in politics it can get toxic really fast online,
Right.
especially people have no problem being anonymous in a fake profile saying the worst things possible you could even think about.
Mm-hmm.
And I've faced that a lot, and I had to actually train myself to keep away from all of that, to make a post, not read the comments. That's been helpful for me to, make sure that I retain my originality in being an easygoing, peaceful, really focused on my work person because it's easy to read those comments and get entangled in it. And
Mm-hmm.
it brings out the worst in you, and that's not who you want to be, and that's not why you're doing what you're doing. So for my own good mental health and sanity, I try to stay away from negativity. I go on long walks. I spend a lot of time with my children at home, and they make me laugh, and I think that really helps. And yeah, making a cognitive effort to stay away from negativity, get social media detox breaks, plan them on
Social
your
media
calendar.
detox is very, very important,
Yeah.
I think, and
And
more
and
people.
and a good healthy diet, understanding your gut.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes your gut issues are what's causing anxiety
Yeah.
and stress. So I have spent the last few years really focusing on my gut health, and that has helped me a lot.
Mm-hmm. That's great. And the walks are good. And laughter is great medicine too. Spending time with
Yeah.
kids, and that's all therapeutic and really needed for us. So, if you could add magically one landmark, is it like a an event, a signature event, a signature attraction, or a landmark to Milton, what would it be and why?
Well, the funny answer is a Costco because Milton is nuts for Costco, and this is a running joke in our town for the last 2 decades that we need a Costco, and people on April Fools will always generate an AI picture and post it on social media and say, "Hey, Costco's here."
Mhm.
So it's a running joke in our community, and yes, we need a Costco, but if you give me the power to generate one thing or an event, I would love to have a Milton's very own Canada Day event that is sponsored by the town of Milton, because there were times in our community recently where we did not have an event. The fireworks were not able to happen because of lack of sponsorship, the fees being too high, lack of volunteers. And I believe the town should be in charge of this so that Canadians are always able to celebrate being Canadian, which is such a privilege for all of us and such a moment of pride for all of us. I say being born in a country is one thing, but giving up everything and then choosing to be a Canadian is something else. And we should all have an opportunity to celebrate it locally. So that would be it.
That's good. And so finally, is there any closing message, one final message, if you want to share directly with the people of Milton, especially those who are, I'm assuming they all are hopeful for a stronger and more connected future?
Thank you for this opportunity. My message to Miltonians is that you are smart, you are brave, and you are resilient. And I love that about Milton and Milton's spirit. It is time Milton had a forward looking vision. It is time that Milton had solutions for the problems that we have been facing for decades. I'm stepping up to be your next mayor and provide those solutions for you. I am raising my family here for the last decade. I understand those problems because I face them every day. I have the experience to find those solutions for you, and I will have a fully costed out plan to make sure our taxes keep low, but we have more jobs and economy for our residents. So if you like what I'm saying here, vote for me.
All right. Thank you so much. Well, we wish you all the best. Thank you. It was a lovely talking to you today, and we wish you all the best in your campaign in the future, and we'll be watching to see what happens next.
Thank you, Shabana, for this opportunity. Thanks for highlighting all South Asian diaspora who
Mhm.
are making headlines all over the North America. I think it is such an important thing you're doing, and it is for our future generations to
Yeah.
be
Inspire more
looking at and
leadership.
be, yeah, to be inspired by. And so I think this is great work you're doing. Keep it up.
Okay, thank you so much.